Hey, welcome back everyone. Rob here from Ram Studio Comics. So today I'm drawing Batman. I'm using the Procreate app, and so the purpose of this one is I've been trying to experiment, or I'm experimenting, I should say, with going to inks quicker than I normally would. So if you notice, I started to sketch and then I immediately started to ink. Now, this seems like a weird explanation of the process because obviously inking is typically on paper, and there's a difference there because when you ink on paper, it's more volatile, more permanent, but not really because you learn to really work with whiteout. So I've been doing a couple pieces like that, and then it made me think I really got to start doing that in my digital work and just quit drawing so much. People have recommended this multiple times, like why do you refine your pencils? And generally it's because I'm trying to work out ideas and because I'm not always confident of certain angles and perspectives and details. Certain things just throw me for a loop. You'll see I redraw hands a couple times on this, and that's almost an always type thing. And this is also a very basic perspective, right? Profiles are just a lot easier. Even though I do work into some background details, it's just pretty darn simple. So, kind of a one point perspective, and you'll see it's not very intricate for a lot of reasons. When you get into those real detailed backgrounds, then maybe this gets a little bit trickier. But I think that the main thing is with digital, you can use as much whiteout as you want, right? So what I'm doing is I'm using the pen with the same pen that I'm using to draw with now, basically go right to inks. I'm also using to erase. So I'm basically sculpting the work through the whole process. Now, again, if I want a better refinement, then I need to draw at least one more level of sketching and then rendering. But I think that with enough practice, I should be able to bridge the gap, and it really speeds up the process. So even though this piece still took me 7.5 hours, which seems like a long time for one panel, it's right to inks. And I'm still relatively new to this process. So I could see really bridging the gap, really getting faster, definitely getting better with the control of line quality as I go. And again, the nice thing is you're getting an inked piece of work that's ready for color. So yeah, it's worth checking into. I was kind of motivated because I watched David Finch's recent video where he laid down a loose sketch line, then he inked right over top of it, and I thought that was really cool. And mainly I just thought of wow, that's way faster. I've been overthinking a lot of my work. Now, there's times when I just feel like I'm going to need to redraw things, but I still have that option. I can isolate a part of the illustration and I can soft erase and redraw just that part. But my real goal, you can see I'm kind of messing up and with the Batmobile. Cars are not my strong suit, and I don't think I ever drew the Batmobile, or maybe I have, but it's still pretty difficult for me to figure out all those shapes. But I'm working through that little version in the background there. And that's an area where, again, I could have soft erased it and redrew with more of a pencil technique and kind of figured out those shapes and forms. But really, once you start, drawing and inking, or inking and erasing with the same brush, it really is the same thing. You're just not using a soft erase. But I think what it does is it makes you commit to ideas, again, a lot quicker. It makes you think more deliberately about the line. So I just did a piece where I penciled and inked, I should say, I lightly sketched and I inked Spawn. And I didn't show the whole process, but it's on the channel here. And that was, again, me trying to bridge that gap of just quickly making some decisions and realizing that, hey, if I get backed into a corner, I got whiteout. And obviously that's traditional art, so there's a different level of worry that you could attach to that. But it's really, you're never really stuck. And once you start to feel more comfortable with that, then you can explore more ideas. You can be more creative. And it does boil down to how long have you been really drawing. I mean, I've drawn all these characters multiple times. There's a certain point where you want to kind of let go of the training wheels and say, you know what, I know what these characters look like. I can do this. And I think that maybe you get a little bit more of a creative vibe from this because you're not overthinking it. You're not re-rendering it. There's been a lot of pieces where I've shared them and I put massive amounts of effort into them, and then they did subpar. And then there's been ones where I quickly drew them out, quickly sketched them, barely sketched and just quickly went to color, things like that. And people are like, "Whoa, this is cool," and I'm thinking, "Wow, I spent like an hour and a half on that one." So I think that there's a certain amount of energy, just like gesture drawing with the human figure. You lose gesture when you over render the human figure. So this might relate in that same way, where you got to keep that energy, and that energy comes from quick, loose, imaginative line making versus, again, trying to really tighten everything up and then losing a certain amount of the concept through that process. And be sure to let me know what you guys think. Like, do you feel that you see that in your own work, where you get a certain amount of creativity by not trying to fix everything? What's your process? What works for you? What doesn't? And make sure to comment in the section below. And let me know what you think of this piece. I just kind of tried to just wing it in a sense, and go with a more creative vibe. It's very sketchy, a lot more sketchy than what I'm used to doing. So your opinion matters. Let me know, and also comment in the section below. So as always, keep drawing, keep having fun, and more content is on the way very soon. Bye for now.